This is Mountain Ghost 556. I'm here today to do a little video on char cloth. Now I know char cloth's been played out and everybody's got their video on char cloth, but I thought I'd just go ahead and make a video of my own just to post it on my channel on char cloth and how to make it. So I'm just waiting right now for the fire to burn down in my rocket stove. I made this quite a while back, and it's pretty cool. It doesn't take a whole lot to make it. It's kind of tedious and tiresome. Maybe one day I'll put a video out of making one, but right now I'm just using this. I'm burning the wood down into hot coals so I can start feeding the fire through the bottom area, which you can probably see it's starting to go already. So I'm just going to go ahead and let this burn down a little bit and get a decent flame, and then I'll go ahead and I'll start showing you guys how to make some char cloth out of just t-shirts and stuff. Char cloth's been around a long time. There's many videos on YouTube out there on how to make it, so if you don't like this one, feel free to go find another one, and I hope you learned something. Okay, we'll be back in a minute. Okay, got the fire going. Everything's going good. I'm going to go ahead and take the cloth that I prepared for the char cloth, and I'm going to stick it in the Altoids container. I like to keep it approximately the same size as the container, because if you don't, then it sometimes won't char all the way and it'll leave the edges uncharred. So try to get as big as the container is on the inside, because sometimes it'll, right like that right there, it just won't char all the way and do its thing. So we're going to close this up. Like I said, you just poke a hole in the lid and we're going to put it on the fire, and here we go. We should start to see here shortly. We'll start to see either a flame or some discolored smoke coming out of the tin. Now, like always, make sure safety first, because you really want to make sure that wear gloves and stuff when you're doing something like this, because you're dealing with fire, of course, and so whoops, sorry about the finger there. You're dealing with fire, and anytime you're dealing with fire, well, you can get burned. So we're starting to see a little smoke come out of the tin now, as you can see right there. So sometimes you'll get a flame and sometimes you'll get just weird smoke. So either when you get the flame or you get the smoke, once the flame or the smoke stops, then pull your char off, pull the tin off so you can get to your char cloth, because if you do get the flame coming out of the top of the tin right there, it's not burning up you're not burning up your char, you're just burning off the gases and stuff like that. So we might get a flame off here, and that's how I usually determine whether or not you got a good char going on in there or it's not. But right now I just seem to be getting smoke, which that's all right too. I mean, it's just burning off the residual chemicals and stuff like that to make the char cloth. We might get some. I'm usually used to seeing there we go. There's the flame. Okay, now it's not burning. So you saw the smoke at first. It took a little while. It took a little longer than usual, but it's not burning up the cloth. The cloth is not burning. So what you want to do is go ahead and get whatever device, whether it be a pair of tongs or a pair of gloves or something, and you want to go ahead and be ready. So when that flame goes out, you want to make sure that you pull it right out the fire, or you will scorch and just turn it really brittle or remove a lot of the charring qualities that come with the char cloth. So once this flame goes down a little, sometimes it doesn't actually have to go out all the way, but if it goes down just a little or it looks like it's dying out, you can pull it off. You can pull the tin off and go ahead and pull out your char and stuff, because right then and there you'll have made char cloth. And I'm just making this on a homemade rocket stove that I made a while back, and it's pretty good. I like it. It's a good little stove. The only downside about it is the number 10 can right here. I went and bought cheese sauce. Okay, now the flame's starting to go down, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it off, and we're going to go ahead and this should be about good. And yeah, I'm satisfied with that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull that off. But yeah, as I was saying, while we let that cool, with this right here, I had gotten this, so I was going to make it out of, these are bean cans, Bush's baked beans, the 16 ounce. This is a number 10 can of cheese, And if you think you can eat a whole number 10 can of cheese by yourself or even with another person in a time before it goes bad, more power to you, because I couldn't do it, and half of it went bad. It was just, yeah, well, I think I actually preserved and wound up doing some damage to my internals eating all that cheese. Okay, so I will let the char cloth cool, and I'll get back with you. Now I've got my char cloth out of the box, and it's sitting right here. So it's not a box, it's an Altoids tin. So it's all charred, ready to go. Now I've got my fire kit here. I'm not going to light the char cloth with a lighter, or I'm not even going to use this broken blast match piece, lighter or matches, or you even try this. What I got here is a modified Bic lighter that I cut down to fit on the side of the my Vaseline and cotton balls, so I've always got it. And this is pretty much the amount of spark that this thing throws off. It doesn't throw a whole lot off, so it throws off the same amount of sparks as basically a Bic lighter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, stop fumbling with this, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to spark this char cloth with just this little amount of. Now make sure you get your char cloth pretty thin and sparkle. This has got some, you can't see it, some cracks right there, but this will take the smallest spark, and as you can see, there it goes. Now this actually, it'll take off on its own. It's self-feeding, and it's pretty impressive. I just like playing with it, you know. Oh, well, it doesn't seem to want to play right now, but there we go. Took it a second, but look at that. It gets really hot too, right here, as you can see, and yeah, this is your ember. Basically it just turns into an ember. And that's what it is, just an ember, and it'll burn itself. It'll actually consume itself up, and you put that into your tinder bundle to light your kindling. Now this is not one of those, oh, I can just go out and I use this anytime. You've really got to practice with this. This is almost the same to akin as starting a bow drill fire or working with any kind of small ember source. So it's not like you're just going to toss it on there and, you know, start a fire. You got to have some proficient fire skills to begin with to use char cloth. A lot of videos show the char cloth and the guy starting quick. You know, you got to get a bird's nest, you got to get your tinder, you got to get everything ready, because 90%, 95% of making a fire is having everything set up beforehand before making the fire. And as you can see, just with this light breeze, it's consuming itself. So, yep, that's char cloth made on my rocket stove. So, I hope you enjoyed this. If there's any questions or comments, please feel free. I kind of had to hurry this up. One thing I want to say is, the reason why I like the Altoids tin is because it fits one of these cheap magnesium mag blocks in there with a really crappy ferrocerium rod. But I'd rather use one of these up. You can get them at a Harbor Freight for $2.99. I'd rather use one of these up than my expensive ferrocerium rods or my really good ones. This is good to practice with. I'd say keep a bunch of these on hand to practice with. You know, starting char cloth. These things will just immediately. You have no problem starting it. The lighter, it did take a little bit more work, but in the end result, we still did get our char cloth to start consuming itself. But like I said, beware. You've got to have sufficient enough fire skills to use char cloth. It's not just drop it on your tinder and load up your kindling and then your big wood and start fire. You've got to have some proficient fire skills. Like I said, make yourself some char cloth. Buy some of these cheap mag blocks and start to practicing. Learn how to use char cloth. It's a good supplement to your fire kit. It's really good. Okay, Mountain Ghost 556 out.